So, good morning. Thanks for joining me. It's about 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Sun's coming up, sky's brightening. Hopefully you're able to hear a beautiful bird song. Hope you like the video. If you do, please like it. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you will be very, very welcome. If you want to comment, you'll be very, very welcome. As I've said previously, this is a very, very old piece of woodland. It dates back to the time when Waltham Abbey, in the Middle Ages, owned this land on the outskirts of Chelmsford, and their land holdings were continuous from here to Waltham Abbey. Subsequently, King Henry excuse my appalling history, decided that they didn't deserve it, and as punishment for not granting him a divorce, he seized the lands, dissolved the monasteries, and yet somehow this piece of wonderful woodland escaped his attentions. I believe that it's held under a legal covenant that prevents any building and development of this land. What a wonderful thing that is. We're surrounded on two sides by a housing development, one side by a sports academy stroke sports field, and the other side by some very much appreciated, listen to that, very much appreciated football pitches. In the middle of two housing estates, when your children are at an age where you don't necessarily want them under feet all the time, not old enough to get served in the pubs and the clubs, too old to want to stay indoors with mum and dad, this is where they congregate. And it's really, really nice to see it being used. Despite the litter, some of the less than social behaviour, to realise and be able to accept that these children are out in the woods, out in nature, not doing any harm. I think as the older I get, the less tolerant I become, but nonetheless they're people enjoying the woodlands, just like me. This woodland is just absolutely fantastic. So I'm based in Chelmsford, and I try as hard as I can to walk rather than catch the bus going into Chelmsford itself, which I do regularly. My route takes me through this woodland, and I'm so glad that it does. I can stand in my kitchen window, and depending on the time of year, I can hear what you can hear at the moment. I can also hear woodpeckers, and I hear owls. And for me, I've recognised that the woodpeckers, when they start tapping out, that's the beginning of spring. So there's still cold and wet days ahead, but they're diminishing, they're less and less. And the owls, typically I hear them in the depths of winter. Now, both of those species are indicative. Owls being carnivores, there has got to be a serious population of voles, rats, field mice, rodents of all sorts to keep them fed, and alive. The woodpeckers. Goodness me. The amount of grubs, flying insects, that they find. Just indicative of the health of this woodland. And on my right, there's an ash tree. Directly behind the camera, there's an old and dying oak. On the left, we've got a white thorn. I'm perched on some oaks that were blown down and have just been cut up and left. And I think nature will make the most of it, recycling these nutrients. So, excuse me, please like, subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the listening.